Good morning. Call the special meeting to order on Wednesday, October 11th at 8:32 a.m. for the purpose of selecting a bid for the Bethany Lane Road Improvement Project and the Google Doc discussion and decision. Roll call. Sweattick has an excused absence. Augustine here. Asherle here, along with Service Superintendent Mike Beharry. Okay. Mike, did you want to start?
Yeah, I can. After looking over bid specs and everything, we've had a conversation with the county. We've been looking at different things here in the plans and looking over what the contractors have to offer. The biggest thing that I know I was told by county is that it says that we didn't have a paver in our plans, but when you follow the general notes, which everyone has from Lewis and Land, it says general notice, concrete pavement, including the mixing, placing, finishing, curing, and protection of same shall conform to specification items 452 and 499, State of Ohio Department of Transportation Construction and Material Specifications. Now, when we go in and we read ODOT items 452.
And just for clarification, Mike, that's on page 5 of 8 of the Bethany Lane improvement plans, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And when we go to the ODOT items 452, so I'm going up real quick to read it. It says the requirements of this item in the construction follow 451 apply. So when we go back to 451, 451.03 equipment, furnish self-propelled spreading and
Mike, I'm sorry, can you turn on your microphone?
When we go back and refer to what it said to the ODOT items 451, we go to 451.03 equipment. And this is in our plans. Furnish self-propelled spreading and finishing machines capable of consolidating and finishing the concrete and producing a finished surface meeting the requirements specified. Consolidate the full width and depth of concrete placement placed by single passive series of approved internal vibrators operating a frequency range of 7,000 to 11,000 impulses per minute. Attach vibrators either spreading or finishing equipment in such a manner that they do not come in contact with present dowel basket, assembly, subgrade, reinforcing mesh or side forms. Do not operate vibrators in a manner to cause separation of mixing ingredients, either a downward displacement of large aggregate particles or the accumulation of lattice on the surface of the concrete. Avoidance of segregation of the concrete mix may require a reduction in vibration frequencies with ranges specified. Forward motion of the paver is reduced. Connect the power to all vibrators so that they cease when the machine motion is stops. Stop paving operations if any vibrator fails to operate within above specified range. Now, after reading all this and knowing that this is in our contract documents and that you had to refer to ODOT for the contract documents, after reading the equipment lists and set in stone was the apparent low bidder, we do not see any paver or vibrating machines in their equipment list. So with us not knowing that they even have any or have access to them, with them not being provided to us, I would say that your bid should go to the next lowest bidder, which would be Fabrizi, would be my suggestion.
Okay, so just for clarification for everyone, we don't have in our actual bid document that we wanted a paver, but it referenced the ODOT 452.
Yes.
And that is telling us what their list is and includes a paver.
Yes.
Okay.
And that would be the 451.03 equipment through the ODOT where it says to refer back to in 452.
And set in stone in their equipment list does not have a paver.
No.
Fabrizi does.
Fabrizi does.
As the next lowest bid, Fabrizi does.
Any thoughts on this, Melissa?
Trimore was significantly more expensive.
Correct.
I don't know, I've done a lot of bids over the years. This is a first. So what's your recommendation, Mike? If I'm hearing you correctly,
My recommendation is to go with Fabrizi.
it would be to go to Fabrizi because we want to have the paver and although
We
it's,
wanted a paver. We also said in the pre-bid meeting that we wanted a paver. But of course, we only had one contractor at the pre-bid too.
so one of the three contractors was the only one that appeared at that pre-bid meeting?
Yes.
Okay,
But they could have been virtually, but we don't
Okay.
know. But when it states in the plans, when you refer to ODOT, you have to refer to ODOT. You had to do quite a bit of digging to find it, so.
Well, thank you for doing the digging.
yes, appreciate that.
And I know you and I spoke over email also about which of the bids you were leaning towards. And I think with what you just uncovered with what you found with the ODOT standards,
Mhm.
that makes sense to go to the next lowest.
That's my recommendation.
Jim, do you have anything to add?
Not at this moment.
Melissa, do you have any more comments? Are you ready?
Nope, I'm ready for a motion if you have one.
Okay, I make a motion to accept the Fabrizi bid at $237,270 for the Bethany Lane Road Improvement Project.
Second.
Seconded by Augustine. All in favor?
I think we should probably do a roll call just because it's a bid
Roll call, okay.
Pending
Augustine?
prosecutor approval.
and pending prosecutor.
Pending
approval.
prosecutor approval.
Second as amended.
Okay, Augustine?
Yes.
Asherle, yes.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate all of your work on that. I know that that was a lot of investigative work.
Yeah. It's quite a bit.
That's why you're the man. You know where to look.
We try. That's all we can do is we try, so.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
I will communicate this to Jack
Perfect.
so that he can send it to the prosecutor's office.
Yeah, and I will send him all the items in that ODOT spec to also send over. So that Brian has all that.
Perfect.
Thank
Anything
you.
else?
You should do it from us.
Okay,
Perfect.
you guys sticking around? Or you got work to do?
We,
Oh, that's a cozy chair. You might just want to hang for a
It's
second.
a little bit warmer in here than it is out there.
years.
Okay. What's that? I think Suzanne said you had the Google Doc discussion added.
Yes, I did add that back on. I had some conversation with Suzanne and determined that she is actually doing her best effort to save a lot of these records requests and preemptively kind of knowing that some of them are going to come back. In going through records training through sunshine laws, I think that it's not Suzanne's job to just hand off a records request when it comes in and say, oh, here's the Google Drive or the Dropbox or whatever we're using. It's her job to bring it to the electeds or the department heads, whoever is a part of the parameters of the request. And then it's our job to compile the information. So if we are putting all this stuff on a Google Drive, we will have gaps. So for instance, the police one just came back up. And the first thing I did was I said to Suzanne, can I see what we've given in the past?
Mhm.
And I'll fill in the blanks. If it's on a drive, we don't have that ability. who's going to keep filling the voids of the new documents that are being attached to that subject matter?
Well, if it's on the drive, you will actually cut out time because you won't have to go to Suzanne and ask her what's in the drive. You can just access the drive on your own and say, you know what, this records request just came in. There's some additional information that I have to add to it. So it actually cuts out a step of having to go to Suzanne and ask her what she has for that record.
But she already has all of it. So regardless of, I have to either talk to Suzanne or I have to go on the drive. Either way, it's our job to facilitate the records request, not hers.
Right, but if it's something, and this is something, we're not talking about doing this for every single records request. We're talking about doing the ones that are very frequently requested so that we're not having to go back and pull everything again. And Suzanne's not having to go back and dig through all of her files with everything. So it's a streamline, it streamlines it.
For, yes, a case-by-case basis, when there is a subject matter that is repeatedly requested and it's a large document, creating a shared drive for those individuals who request the data, they're given permission to receive it as if they were getting an email. If it's created as a saved document in a folder, I'm not going to also put it in the shared drive if it already exists in my shared folder and I email it. That's usually how the requests come in, is to have it emailed. If a case-by-case basis where it is a large document and it does go to the shared drive, but not, as you said, not everything would be placed there. So I just don't want that misconception of, well, everything's going to be going to a shared.
And I don't think that's what it was. I don't know if you happened to watch our last meeting last week.
I did.
And I thought we were all on the same page, knowing that it's not every records request. It's only the ones that are very large, the ones that people come back for, multiple different people are asking for the same request, and they're very large and they're very time consuming. So it's, you know what, let's upload this to the Google Drive. That's what it was. It was never the intention to do every public record. I did not think, that's not what I had intended.
Well, and
for
I
it.
fully believe in streamlining all of our processes. And I have had this, like I said at the last meeting, I've had this conversation about a Google Drive for many years now. And not just for records requests, but I think what we're doing is by uploading it to this Google Drive, we're streamlining it. It's already streamlined. She already has it. She already has all of these documents electronically and accessible that she can go in and just send it to somebody if they want it. The request comes to her office. Now you're going to send the person to a Google Drive when she's got it to email right away.
Then what is taking so long right now with it? That, I mean, we had to approve overtime last week, getting all of these records requests sent out. And what I was being told from the front office is it's the people were wanting these large records requests, and it takes a lot of time to fulfill them on your end.
Right. We had multiple requests, and part of it was waiting to get information from a records request that I did not respond to. It was one that Martha had responded to. So I had to wait for that information to come in and then compare what was given to me previously to what was additional. The idea was, oh, well, that request was done back in January, just send them that. Well, each request is always different. Date spans, specific, is it just letters, correspondence, texts, phone logs, etc. So each one is different,
Right.
And that all has to be encompassed into the new response to whomever is responding to provide me with the detail. So that's where it becomes a little bit. And then because I am using previous, I have it saved as a folder, and I have to go in, and I usually just utilize an old email and just forward it and eliminate the previous information and then send it. So that part of it is streamlined in that sense, but we just had multiple records requests, and Lynn was out on
I
Monday
was gonna say you were out.
and I had been out previous to that,
Mhm.
the week before. So, and our trash survey, I mean, so there was just a lot of variables all at one time.
Mhm.
And to, maintain our daily functions, it just required some extra time.
Mhm. It seems to me, because we had all agreed to this a week ago. So it seems to me that by having the Google Doc created for these large record requests, I mean, I have emailed you with some of these saying, do you still have everything that I submit? I think it would reduce us needing to come to you because we would all have access to it. We can actually see what's in there. Oh, okay. So this records request actually goes a month prior to the last one. So now I don't have to bother you. I can see it on there so that I can just go back and say, okay, so I need to pull everything from a month prior to this last one. And, maybe it goes 2 months beyond. So now it shortens our window time of us having to look at it. So it just seems to me that it simplifies it for everybody to have. And again, it's just the larger, more frequently record requests items.
I mean, what were the records requests that were so frequently asked for?
Just recently, the, records regarding the police, issue.
Right. And that just came up because I just brought it up, but that's not a regularly requested item.
Yeah.
What else would you think would be a regularly requested item? Because
The
I'm
only-
not thinking of any.
The only other one, that was requested more than once, in the last year, was the, records request between the town center developer and the trustees.
Right. So those were specifically, and how many did you get?
Okay.
Okay.
Two.
Yeah. so
But
I
then
mean, I
we
just don't
also
feel like
have, that's just within the last 2 months. We also had a lot, and you were very busy. You and Lynn were very busy with the comprehensive plan audit. There was a lot of records requests, very similar or the same with that process.
I think
With the
we only
trash,
We
I
only
think
had
we
2 or 3.
one or two comprehensive plan requests.
Yeah.
and
but
one
those
or
were
two-
very large.
Well, it was just,
But we have them. That's,
Yeah.
she has them. So
Yeah.
why are we adding another step for
And-
her and for us?
I'm sure that we will be getting plenty with the new trash surveys that we just sent out. I'm
Is that
sure
a
there will
regularly
be.
requested thing, the trash surveys, opt-outs? I don't recall a records request of
the
trash
very
survey.
first year we did.
Yeah, but that's it.
one, Yeah.
But with the responses from the survey. So I'm inclined to remain with the answer that we came to last week with it, and that is to move, again, the frequently requested large records request to the Google Drive.
And I mean, I did speak, to others, and they felt very confident that whatever method is used is appropriate and makes sense, so.
Yeah, and I had just recently reached out because I have here on my Post-it note records procedures. That's something that we talked about earlier this year. So I have emailed, and this was prior to our discussion, Brunswick Hills, Montville, and Sharon, and all of them have this very simple, they don't have a procedure per se, but it's just, the request comes in, they facilitate it, and they have someone sign off that they received it, whether it be electronic via email or come in and hand, toss a signature out saying that they received it. We in Hinckley Township have gone above and beyond as far as transparency. I have talked to trustees in other townships that don't have letterhead. They don't have emails. Some of them don't even have websites. We have a brand new, beautiful website. We have a virtual meeting system, YouTube, all of these things. And I feel like we are quantifying our workload. We're making it more, and it's cumbersome. And I think we should handle records the way we've traditionally handled them. I don't think that there's any records that are out there that aren't up for grabs, as long as it correlates with the records retention policy, we have them. People come in, we have full transparency. We do a great job in providing records when people ask for them. And I'm really proud of that. I think we facilitate it quite quickly and efficiently. And I just don't think that there's anything that's frequent that needs to go onto a drive. I think it's our job as trustees, fiscal officers, and department heads to facilitate those records and get them to Suzanne in a timely manner so that she can fulfill the records request. It's not her job to say, oh, well, here's the drive. Just go on there and see if what you want's on there. I don't think that meets records law.
Okay, I am inclined to remain where we unanimously agreed to last week. I understand that Melissa and I do not agree with it at this point. It just kind of feels like we're taking a step backwards. So I'm inclined to remain where we were at last week. Certainly, if you want to discuss this on Tuesday next week with the full board, we can do that.
Okay. Well, I just think that there's new information that's come about, and that's why I wanted to have conversation about it, because when it was presented to us, the ideology was that these records weren't saved in any capacity, that we're digging them out by hand through paper, and that's not a true statement. Okay. Perfect. That's all I have.
Okay.
I think if we're going to have further conversation, we should probably write down what our definition of frequent is and determine how many times some of these records have actually been requested.
And records are always available by inspection as well.
Absolutely. Thank you.
But I mean, that's just another caveat, but I don't disagree with having a Google Drive when it necessitates, but I don't want that to be something that one might think, oh, well, we're just gonna go to this drive and find what we're in need of.
But they're not going to. They will get the link, they will get the approval for the Google Drive once they submit a records request asking for they're not going to say, I want what's in the Google Drive. They're going to say, I would like a records request of.
If it exists in the Google Drive, that's how they would get it. But if it doesn't exist in the Google Drive, I'm not going to put it into the Google Drive if it's already available
A different way. Right. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's double the work, and it's not streamlining it. It's compounding the work.
Does that make sense for you? I mean, if it already exists in this format and this is how I've sent it previously, I'm not going to create yet another placement for it if it's a workable method of sending the request out and making a response to it in a timely manner.
Does that make sense too? I agree. And you've got records retention of your records.
Well, I still think it streamlines. I think it streamlines it for everyone else, specifically us, when we're getting these. I just sent you an email a couple of weeks ago saying, do you need me to print all of this stuff again? Because I know that I already submit this, I have nothing new to add to it. And I submit everything to you 9 months ago. That eliminates time for both you and I of having to even ask you that question, and you dig it out and send it to me and me go through it. It's right there for me.
So what if we just have Suzanne, when she responds to the requester, copy or blind copy all of the trustees with the scanned document, so we all have the records that were requested, and then we have them on our computer for easy access to determine what's necessary for the next records request.
I think that the Google Doc is the easiest way to go, again, for these large, frequently requested. And I think we're just going to keep going in circles at this point. So like I said, if you want to address this again at the meeting on Tuesday, when Jack is back and he can weigh in on it, then we can do that. So
I think it is a case by case basis, discretionary. If it already exists in one format, and that's how I've been sending it. I'm not going to,
Reinvent the wheel.
right, if it's working, if something new comes in, absolutely. If it's a large and it's a multiple requests.
Okay.
Thank you, Suzanne. I appreciate you having a conversation with us about it.
Not a problem. Yeah, I'm here to work through things and
You do a great job.
whatever the trustees want to, if there's something, I think there should be like a process in place, an internal
Procedure.
procedure
Mhm.
as to what we do.
Yeah.
Because then you are creating a records retention and now you have things in multiple areas potentially. And
Yeah, and I think that we find in Hinckley Township that if a resident does something, it doesn't necessarily mean the township has to do it. This is a new thing, is that there's a Google Drive that's been created by a resident.
Well, that is getting off topic.
Well,
of
I'm
the
just
special
saying,
meeting.
we don't have to, we
so-
don't have to agree to doing a Google Drive just because someone else is facilitating it.
And we'll leave it at that. That's
So that's
stay
all
on
I was gonna
topic.
say. We are on topic.
And that was, I think that was kind of creating a process for it, I think that was the purpose of it. So we can discuss it again next week if we feel that it's worthy of discussion with the full board. But if there is no other discussion, then I would move to adjourn at 8:59 a.m.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.